A retired surgeon has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for sexually abusing hundreds of patients, most of them children. 74-year-old Joel Scouarnec, who is already in prison for raping and sexually assaulting 4 children, admitted in court that he committed despicable acts. Let's bring in our Europe correspondent, Adam Parsons, for more on this. Adam, you've covered this story in some detail. 20 years in prison now for Scouarnec.
Yeah, that is the maximum sentence that Joel Scouarnec could have faced. Frankly, absolutely no surprise at all that he was given that. He admitted in a court hearing to all of these crimes, 300 charges involving 299 individuals, most of them actually under the age of 15. The average age of his victim, just 11 years old, divided sort of roughly between male and female. This is an extraordinary story of abuse by a surgeon who worked in various hospitals, mostly in the Brittany area, and who preyed on victims who very often were still subject to the effects of anaesthesia, who in many cases had no idea that they had been abused until they were told years later, or in a couple of cases of people who were so haunted by what had happened to them that they took their own lives. So Joel Scouarnec will, by mandatory decision of the court, serve 2/3 of that 20-year sentence. Only then will he be allowed to apply for parole. In reality, I don't think there is any way that Joel Scouarnec, who's 74 now, is ever going to leave jail. What he will leave behind is a huge number of questions, and I think you can divide them into 2 broadly. One is about the incredible list of failures that allowed him to carry out these despicable crimes. There were clues. The FBI contacted the French and said that he had used a credit card to download child pornography. That warning somehow was not taken up. Also, when that information was put to a hospital, evidence that a surgeon was effectively downloading child pornography, that this was a paedophile, he wasn't suspended, he wasn't sacked, he wasn't reported to the police. He was in fact passed on and given other jobs. How on earth could this man have been allowed to operate within the medical system is one question. The second is, why has this trial not garnered more attention? Why hasn't France learnt more lessons? The victims have protested outside. They have demanded that more people take more attention of their suffering. They want a public inquiry, and now, with this trial coming to an end, I think there will be a growing call for an inquiry to be held into Scouarnec, just as there were calls for inquiries after the trial of Dominique Pellico.